So there I was, sitting in my room thinking to myself, what do I want to make my next video on? Then I realized, hello everybody, welcome back to another video, this time with the A-5C. It sits at a battle rating of 10.0, which is kind of a missile premium hellhole, but the A-5C is probably one of the best things you can pick to combat this, because you get countermeasures and 2 magics, and despite being an attacker, have really good dogfight performance. Real quick, I just want to let you guys know that I started a Patreon, which you can find in the description if you'd like to support me directly. Now, currently, I've already merged with multiple enemy planes, mostly MiG-21s and Su-25s, which all carry 2 missiles each, so I'm going to try and bait them into taking missile shots in which I still have enough time to react and flare them away. Once they're out of missiles, this gives me the opportunity to abuse my much better energy retention to just start looping around them until they're all out of speed. I flare away another missile, and I almost crash into this Harrier GR1 who tries to swerve in on me. I'm going to start climbing away now as the MiG-21s are starting to get really slow and the Harrier GR1 will never pull in on me. They also just wasted the last of most of their missiles, and with how much more energy I have than them, I'm just going to continue holding my elevator key and do a complete 180 because basically everybody's stalled themselves out at this point. With half the enemy team below me, with collectively half the energy I do, this gives me free reign to just loop over the top and fire my magics at the first 2 people I see. I launch on this MiG-21, but he unfortunately dies right when I launched it, and then I launch on the second one, who is an easy free kill as he doesn't have flares. After getting those missiles off, I'm going to extend away for a little bit, as there's still a couple stragglers behind me. The lightning comes down from space, but focuses down the other A5, and the MiG-21 is preoccupied with my A-10 teammates. So I'm just going to 180 and go back towards their direction. There's also the Su-25, which I don't really want returning to base, and the A-10s will never catch, so I'm going to focus him down instead of trying to chase the lightning, which has a much higher top speed than I do. When I reach him, I'm generally staying above him so that he can't really pitch up for me and get a gunshot, until I solidly get behind him because he's taking a head-on with an A-10. This gives me ample time to just slot in behind him, lead my guns a little bit, more like a lot of bit, and get the kill. The guns on this thing aren't great and require a lot of lead, which is probably the biggest weakness of this thing. Now typically, the landing of this thing is pretty easy as long as you're cognizant of how much energy it holds. If you just cut your throttle, whip out the air brake, you should be able to get your gear down in time, and it actually has a pretty easy landing run, as the drag chute that this thing gets bleeds off speed really aggressively, meaning you'll have a pretty short turnaround time back into the air as long as you have a good crew. I activate a blind hunt to find the last lightning, and normally, coming off of the runway, it would be pretty difficult to catch this guy directly above us, 7 kilometers in the air. However, the A-5C has such cracked energy retention that I can pitch myself up on minimum fuel to basically anything I want, and I'm actually going to be running this guy down if he's going to pretend NASCAR and do circles over our airfield. The more speed you build up, the more aggressively you're allowed to pitch, meaning you can climb 20 degrees, 30 degrees, and still be gaining speed. Now, this doesn't change the fact that this guy has a pretty big energy advantage over me, so I have to be aware of this, which is why I'm staying around the 500 miles an hour range, so I can still retain full maneuverability. Plus, this guy has 2 decent missiles, and if I'm caught lacking, they can still kill me, so I want to be watching this guy at all times. I make a pretty bad missile launch here, just to kind of spook him, but like, I'm already pretty slow relative to him, and he's above me, and 5 kilometers away. Even though we have some pretty good altitude, that thing's never gonna catch him. I type in chat that I'll have an honorable fight with him, I'm not gonna use missiles, and he finally does turn around, which helps me a lot because I'd never be able to catch him. Especially at altitude, he's just so much faster than I am. In the 1v1 here, he's gonna bleed off basically all of his speed, so as long as I keep my speed up high enough, Eventually, he won't be able to do anything. He's going to run out of energy, and I'm just going to be able to run circles around him all day long. I managed to slot in behind him here, and now I just have to make sure I can hit my gunshots, which, considering the guns that I have access to, is actually quite the chore. I get a hit, and he's doing some weird rolls that I'm not really tracking, so I just spray off all my ammo until he's reduced to dust, as he's the last person left in the match. Now it's time for the moment you've been waiting for, the Goofy Aw Magic clips. The F-4C is going for a classic bombing run here, and because he's not really paying attention, I'm just going to target him down. I launch it off of the rails at like 3 kilometers, and being a 30G high maneuverability missile, there's nothing he can do without flares. When you go for bombing runs and then get instantly killed, you're going to make like 1/100th of the RP you need for your next vehicle. So I really just don't recommend it. Just play fighters, guys. It's way faster for grinding. This F5 is so focused on my teammates that he's also not going to be paying attention for this next magic, even though he has flares. He's going to target down this Harrier here, going for a head-on, and completely eats that magic to the face. Now, without any missiles left, I've pulled in behind this F-5C. Between the two of our aircraft, they're actually pretty evenly matched, both of them holding energy really well, so I have to manage my throttle to not overshoot him. That being said, he does take a head-on with my teammate, who crashes into him, creating spontaneous fireworks for you guys to enjoy. Behind me is an F-4C, locking me up with his radar, a situation you'll usually find yourself in sometimes, as you're one of the many planes that want to climb at this BR. In order to dodge the AIM-7D, all you have to do, really, is just go 90 degrees and dive a little bit. The missile has to drastically lead you, which it just simply isn't good enough to do. Then, you can just dogfight to your heart's content, as the F-4C is such a brick that I doubt if you know how to dodge a single pass of guns, you'll be able to get shot down by it. After shoving a missile up that guy's behind, another F-4C presents himself below me. But being the 1 in a million gamers that looks up, he actually just pulls in and I can't get a lock on him. And seeing as he was running gun pods, I did not want to stick that head on. I pull my gear out because I'm dumb and my keybinds are right next to each other for air braking gear. And I managed to pull behind this F-4C and loop over the top as he pulls in for me. He's bled off so much speed, however, that there's not much he can really do anymore, and I queue up a magic to fire off at him. That's it for this video. Remember to subscribe if you enjoyed it, as we're getting really close to 1,000 subscribers. Other than that, I'd like to remind you that I have a Discord server. If you'd like to be a part of a growing community of active War Thunder players, make sure to join that. Again, there's the Patreon, which I already talked about. I won't go over that again. Also, there's still plenty of room in my War Thunder squadron, which you can find in the announcements channel of my Discord server. So make sure to join that if you'd like to support a small YouTuber and be part of an original YouTuber squadron. Other than that, though, I hope you all enjoyed. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.